Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. Now, to get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that can be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a YouTube message. So the first question for today comes from Christian, and it is, what do you think about the idea of having a game mod like COD Zombies in Battlefield? I think that it would be awesome to have an open world survivor mod like DayZ or Infestation. So I get these questions all the time, and it mainly has to do with the Dino mode. It seems that a lot of players want to have some sort of Dino survival mode into Battlefield 4. And while I wouldn't be opposed to the idea, I mean, this is DICE's franchise. They can do whatever they want with it. And so if they want to create, they have the time and the resources to create a survival Dino mode in the current game, you know, go for it. Like, it is their franchise. But I have to ask, why do you see the need that these modes need to be infused into Battlefield when there are already games, like you even mentioned them, COD Zombies and DayZ, that already have these game modes and they do it very, very well? Why do you feel the need that they need to be infused into Battlefield when you can already go play them? Maybe I just can't wrap my head around it. Like, I understand, and I really enjoy the weapon gameplay for Battlefield. That's one of the main reasons why I enjoy this series so much. But at the same time, do I want them to spend that much time trying to create a mode that maybe a couple of people will enjoy for a while? Maybe it'll be a huge success. Maybe it will be like COD Zombies, where it's pretty much a game in itself and people buy the game for that mode. You know, that's completely possible. But at the same time, even though I just said they can do whatever they want, like it is their franchise, I would kind of like them to focus more on trying to improve the game right now, try to fix the bugs, more specifically, fix the netcode, create well-balanced maps that everyone enjoys, and just polish the game. Make it a fine sheen. Make it so that when people look back on Battlefield 4, they have a distant memory that the launch was kind of awful, but the gameplay experience after that for the next year and a half was absolutely phenomenal. Make that what everyone remembers about Battlefield 4. Like, that's what they need to focus on, and if a Dino mode is going to take way too many developers from creating that gameplay experience, then I would not want them to go down that path. The next question is, what do you think about having Dragon Breath slugs for the shotguns? If someone is hit by the Dragon Breath, they will catch fire for a certain amount of time, just like the incendiary grenades. So while this does sound pretty cool in concept, like the idea of a lot of people running around with Dragon Breath rounds and lighting people on fire all over the map, like that does sound pretty amazing. But I kind of have to think of how would that be balanced within the gunplay itself? Because when you're using a shotgun, normally you want to be up close and personal. You want to take advantage of the high damage, and if you are trying to light people on fire, that probably means you're not killing them outright. And so if you're using something like, let's say, the 870, like one of the most popular pump action shotguns in the game right now, you use that, and let's say you slap on the Dragon Breath rounds. Do you kill them in one shot, or is it gonna tick them down? So maybe you do 80% of their health if you get a direct hit, and then you have to wait, you know, the couple of seconds for them to burn and die. And if that is the case, I have a feeling while it would be kind of a novelty little weapon to kind of run, and it would maybe require a little bit more skill on the player to get kills with it, you have to remember that up close and personal, you don't really necessarily want the enemy to get caught on fire. Like, you want to kill them outright. And if you don't kill them, and they're using pretty much any weapon in the game, especially if they're using a high rate of fire weapon like the FAMAS or the AEK, they're gonna blow you out of the water. And so the only real situation I can see this kind of coming in handy is where you shoot an enemy, they're at like maybe medium distance, so you can't get the full damage off, but you light them on fire, and as they're running away, it slowly ticks them down to, you know, to 0, and they die. But anything other than that, they're gonna probably turn around and blow your face off. And so while it is cool in concept, like I love the idea, it does sound amazing, I just don't know how DICE would be able to balance it to make it so that it's not overpowered, because you don't want it to do too much damage, because it also has that incendiary aspect of it, but at the same time making it so that it's just not a pile of crap where it's just a novelty slug or a novelty thing in the game where people use it every once in a while for laughs, but that's about it. The next question comes from Carbon RB, and it is, what do you think about being able to throw C4 further by holding down the button longer? It could be useful for taking tanks out from behind cover, etc. Honestly, I think DICE has kind of hit the sweet spot with the C4 mechanics. If you guys remember back in Battlefield 3, C4 wasn't terrible, like it still got the job done, but it had no throwing distance. Like you pretty much plop that at your feet, and the only way you're gonna be able to stick that to an enemy tank is if you were right next to it and the tank wasn't moving. Like you literally need to be right on its ass to be even remotely successful with it. And in Battlefield 4, as you guys know, it does have some distance to it. If you notice a guy is about to round the corner, instead of having to plop it down at your feet like you would in Battlefield 3, you can kind of toss it in front of you, round the corner, and then blow it up and get a nice couple of kills. And I love doing that. Like, it's extremely satisfying. But what I don't want it to do, and I'm assuming DICE would kind of agree with me on this, is they don't want to make it so that you are tossing C4 miles across the map, or even, you know, meters on the map. And the reason behind that is C4 is kind of a risk-reward type of gadget. The reward is if you're able to get up close and personal and you're able to place down 2 C4s on pretty much any vehicle. Maybe it's 3 if you get it on the wheel of an LAV, but you get at least 3 C4s on any object. It's going to explode if you're able to press the button. You're going to get that kill, and that's extremely powerful. Not really any other gadget except for the Slam has that type of killing potential. And so the risk part of it is that you have to get close to the vehicle itself. And it's that type of dynamic that I'm assuming DICE wants in the game, because if you made it any more powerful, if you made it so that C4 could be tossed a fair distance, then that would lessen the effectiveness of the engineer class. I'm not saying that the engineer would be just completely unviable at that point. Like, you would still see engineers running around because you need those repair bots, you need the RPG. But if you're playing on a smaller map, or you're playing on maps that have a lot of cover for infantry units, you would see a lot less people play as the engineer and default on over to the recon and the support, because they can toss those C4 longer and there's less of a risk for getting those plants on tanks because they don't have to get as close. And so while I completely get where you're coming from, like there are a lot of moments when I wish I could toss them like just 1 meter further, then I would finally be able to get that kill. But I think what DICE has done with C4 is fantastic. I think they kind of hit the sweet spot with it, where it's not too weak, where it just plops down at your feet, but at the same time it wasn't like it was back in Bad Company 2, where you could literally toss these across the map. The next question comes from Shadow's Blade, and it is, when do you think the Second Assault DLC will come out for all of those who don't own a Xbox One? That is a very, very good question, because it's been on the Xbox One for a while now. I think it's like, are we nearing a month? Did we surpass a month? It's been on the system for a while. And what bugs me the most is that the maps are done. Like, they're playing on 64-man servers. It's got probably the same assets that it does for the PC and the PlayStation 4 version of it. And the only thing I'm assuming that's holding it back right now is the deal that they have with Microsoft. And I understand that this is business. Microsoft has a deal with DICE and EA because they want to sell more Xbox Ones, and that's the reason why they did it. But at the same time, for us premium users that put $50 down for a premium experience, I'm not really being treated as a premium customer at this point. I mean, Xbox One users are, and that's fantastic. You know, that's great that they own that system and they get this content. But for everyone else, it kind of just feels like a slap in the face at this point. Like, it's been a while. You would assume that they would have launched it at this point. And what bugs me even more is that they haven't even indicated a release date. Like, there isn't anything on Battlelog, there isn't anything on the premium section, and I'm getting that itch at this point where I really want to play on these maps. Like, Caspian Border was easily one of my favorite maps in Battlefield 3 or in any first-person shooter. Like, I just adore that map. And the fact that they haven't been transparent at all with their release date, and that it's been on Xbox One for as long as it has, is honestly just a slap in the face. And I'm crossing my fingers that they are going to remedy this, and that they're going to let us know in the very, very near future. Not only let us know when it's going to launch, but hopefully it's just around the corner. So your guys' guess is as good as mine. But that is about it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. If you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, like I said, you can leave a comment down below or by sending me a YouTube message. But until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.